The Orlando Magic have big time decisions to make ahead of Game 2. Today we're going to be talking about Game 1 more in depth and more specifically about Jamahl Mosley. What did he do right and what did he do wrong? Now this video might seem a little bit negative, but I definitely feel like there are some things that need to be cleaned up and could potentially lead to this organization making decisions in the future based off of this series and how this series goes. I know that's a little vague, but we're going to get all into it on this video here on Magic Digest. Guys, welcome in. I'm your host, Patrick Previty. As usual, this is your one-stop shop for Orlando Magic basketball content. Make sure that you guys are subscribed to the channel. It helps us a lot here at Magic Digest. We're at 937 so far for the channel. We're trying to hit 1,000, so we're pretty close. So guys, make sure that you subscribe. Okay, so as I mentioned, Jamahl Mosley is going to be the main culprit, in my own opinion, from this first game for a couple of reasons. The main two are the rotation and the creativity on offense. For starters, did not feel the support from Jamahl Mosley in this game like some of the players needed. Now, this wasn't just a pep talk or a motivational support. I didn't really feel like the basketball support was there for some of these players. The first place was Paolo and Franz iso ball on offense. We have seen this all season long. When nobody else can get it going, it seems like there's nothing in the playbook or nothing else that can get these other players going outside of Paolo and Franz dominating in a certain way and being able to pass them the ball after they have scored multiple times. That is unacceptable. Unfortunately, it was the more of the same in Game 1, and I don't know if this will change, but I do know that this is not a sustainable thing because those players cannot. They'll have to drop 40 on their own accord almost to get this offense going and rolling. When Franz gets cold and he's not shooting well on the outside, or Paulo misses a couple easy ones that he should have got, or maybe doesn't get fouled on a couple drives, this offense can find themselves in a pit where they have not scored in the last 2.5 minutes. And then by that point, they start pressing, and I just feel like there's nothing else there to help this offense. That is really unfortunate. The second thing is the rotations, in my opinion, have just been too slow to adjust to how this team is playing. And I have been preaching this. I do believe that Cole Anthony should have drawn this start in Game 1. There was a really interesting comment on a video that I made a couple days ago that was mentioning that maybe Cole Anthony was being left on the bench to support that second unit and the scoring and the production and potentially being able to match the scoring and production from the Celtics bench. I got that part. But he only played 10 minutes. So that plan was half executed. He needed to get more minutes. Corey Joseph, in my opinion, was a non-factor in this game. And when you have Cole Anthony on the bench after playing so well against the Hawks and looking healthy, I think at that point, if we want him to support the second unit, we should just keep him out there after we sub out the starters or something along those lines, or maybe potentially trust another scorer that we have on the bench, or keep a good chunk of the starting lineup in. I don't know how much this team can last without Paulo and Franz, but I know that this team should not run any offense without Cole, Paulo, or Franz for the rest of the series and the season. That wasn't the only issue that I had with the rotation. I also felt like it was unusual that Goga Bitadze just didn't get a look whatsoever. I understand that he has kind of not played as well as he did at the very beginning of the year when he showed flashes, but in my opinion, he deserves to get a chance in this series. I don't know if we're going to see it in Game 2. I hope we do, but I know that we're going to see it eventually at some point because we don't have any scoring in the front court from Wendell Carter Jr. and Jonathan Isaac, at least on a consistent basis. Those guys, I don't even know if they combined for 10 points in Game 1, but it wasn't pretty and it wasn't a lot. Now, granted, they both play great defense, and there is certainly an upside to Wendell Carter Jr.'s rebounding, but Bitadze can provide that front court scoring, and we didn't even give him a shot in Game 1. Also, Tristan da Silva, I get that he's a rookie, but maybe there's a chance there that he can provide some sort of spark and give Paulo and Franz some sort of rest and on defense or something. There's something there that unfortunately I don't think was tapped into. Gary Harris, in my opinion, should not be seeing the court whatsoever. And I think for the rest of the players, I'm happy that they ended up getting the minutes that they did get. And maybe I would have argued for Caleb Houston. But those are the main gripes for the rotation. Or, excuse me, I would have argued for Jet Howard. But those are the main gripes with the rotation. Okay? We know that this isn't going to change the personnel of the team, but you got to end up playing the guys that could potentially change the game. And I didn't really feel like Jamahl Mosley did that, nor was this offense creative. And it hasn't really been all year. Now, for the things that went right, Well, Paolo and Franz felt like they were in a position to at least have the ball in their hands and and get a bucket and make this a competitive game. That was a positive. It felt like the defense wasn't really off point. There was a difference in fast break points and turnovers that really gave Boston an edge, especially in the first half and at the very beginning of the third quarter. But it felt like the defense had a lot of the pieces in place. I felt like Jonathan Isaac was able to limit Kristaps Porzingis, and that was a major positive going further on in the series. If there was a limit on Peyton Pritchard, Drew Holiday, and Derek White, Orlando wins this game 1, right? But we at least took care of one of the players, and that was the front court. I also felt like Franz and Paolo, very physical on Tatum and Brown, and just overall, the defense on those two guys was good. Now, neither of them played well for other reasons as well. Maybe Jaylen Brown injury. I know Jason Tatum obviously hurt his wrist towards the end of the game, and maybe just general nerves or something along those lines, just not making their shots. I get it, but I felt like the defense and the general wing scoring, when you look at it for the Magic and the Celtics, actually does give the Magic the advantage, or at least in Game 1. So that's why it was also really important and really nice to have had a win in Game 1. Also, on the perimeter defense, I felt like Anthony Black was good. Now, is he best when he's on Pritchard, and maybe we put somebody else on Derek White, or we put somebody else on Drew Holiday? Maybe so. But I felt like Anthony Black was certainly up to the challenge to be on the perimeter, defending one of their best players. Just offensively, maybe just not as far as he needed to be. So I liked the defense, and I liked at least that Paolo and Franz had their chance. But there are certainly things that need to be cleaned up in this game. What I also wanted to do was a mailbag for this series. I have asked you guys over the last handful of days, what did you think about Game 1 and what do you think about the team? These are y'all's comments, and I definitely wanted to talk about them. I respect it, and I love that you guys are commenting and participating in this channel and making it a true Magic community. That has been a major help to this channel and everything that it stands for. Okay, now here we're going to start with the first one at the very top. We need better guard play. Franz needs to score from cuts, drives, and mid-range. And Paolo needs to post up and bully on the block. Too much ISO for Paolo and Franz. Goga needs more minutes. We will win at least one at home, maybe one all home games. Doubt we get one in Boston. We need Suggs and Mo back. We certainly need Suggs and Mo back. I certainly also agree that there's just too much ISO for Paolo and Franz. And I think Franz's game is definitely scoring on the cuts, drives, and mid-ranges. I don't know what has happened to his shot. It's really unfortunate. Hopefully this isn't something that carries over for the rest of his career. And I do think Paolo has been a very aggressive slasher. So I think as long as he just keeps it up, I think this team will be in a good spot. Also, I just don't know why Goga Bitadze didn't get any minutes, but I'm watching that for Game 2. Paolo is so selfish. Obviously, this commenter goes on and talks more about ISO and him being a ball stopper. And then somebody replies that J.I. should be starting. I'm actually very interested in J.I. In the starting lineup, but Jamahl Mosley hasn't really shown that all year this season. And going back to the Paolo ISO stuff, I just think this offense isn't that creative, and that's what they need. I don't really think Paolo wants to be the ball stopping forward who's scoring or trying to get into an ISO possession every time down the court. I think it's just a matter of the way that the offense functions. And there's not really much else to like or do outside of that. And that does kind of give them the best shot. But I will say it does slightly contribute to some of the stagnant moments that this offense does end up having just pretty much every single game. Why did Goga not play at all? He should be starting. I don't know about starting, but he definitely should be playing. And that was really unfortunate that he got 0 impact minutes. Okay, Paolo needs help on offense. Magic are going to lose him if they don't add some actual scores. That'll be something that we talk about in the free agent videos as this year goes on a lot. What do we need to surround around Paolo to make sure that he is happy with the Orlando Magic? Confident we can steal 1 or 2 away if we keep scoring around 100. Defense played tough. We do that again and we get 1 or 2 starters or bench to step up. We can steal Game 2. That flagrant foul on KCP was terrible. I agree. I think they were just trying to protect the offensive player that was in the air, and they felt like KCP's hand was continuously going down even when it maybe didn't need to be, or he just missed the ball and that was the case. So textbook, they probably called it right, but I get it. I was in the same boat. I was shocked. And also, when there's a flagrant foul and you don't know who exactly it's on, that sometimes doesn't always mean that it's an insane foul or this crazy amount of contact. It was truly, I didn't know if it was going to be on KCP or Wendell Carter Jr. when they were replaying it. Confident that we can steal 1 or 2 away. If we keep scoring 100, we certainly have more of a shot than we do if we scored 85. But am I confident that we can steal 1 or 2 away? I am getting a little bit worried that may have been our best shot, especially on the road. but we'll just have to wait and see, especially for game two. I do believe the defense played tough, but unfortunately, if one or two starters step up, that has been the story all season long. Just need some role players to fill in offensively. Less time for Corey Joseph and put AB out there for defense on Pritchard. I did mention that a little bit earlier. I think we still got a shot to take game two. Great about the future development. I definitely think this team has a shot in game two. Don't get me wrong, but they need to fill out some of these holes because Boston's going to come out and they're going to come out firing. And maybe that was our best shot. Who knows? So at least on the road. But yes, role players need to step up. We certainly need more from them. But I definitely think there's going to have to be some major decisions made in the rotation or by Jamahl Mosley and about Jamahl Mosley potentially after the season. So we're going to do more of an in-depth Game 2 preview. So not just of what we did wrong in Game 1 and what we need to fix, but also what I think Game 2 will come down to and a little bit of predictions. That'll be coming tomorrow. And then we're obviously going to go live again, Game 2 post-game with the Celtics Digest host. His name is also Patrick. So make sure that you guys tune in for that. It'll be a ton of fun. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think about Magic Basketball down in the comments section. And I will see you guys next time with more Orlando Magic Basketball content.